What if death wasn't the end for Dexter Morgan? What if the monster we thought was gone forever still had one last story to tell? Dexter Resurrection doesn't just bring him back, it changes everything we thought we knew about his fate, his family, and his dark legacy. Dexter Morgan's story has always been about walking the razor's edge between justice and darkness. A blood spatter analyst by day and a serial killer by night, Dexter lived by a strict code: kill only those who deserve it. For years, audiences followed his secret life, torn between rooting for him and fearing where his path would end. When the original Dexter series wrapped up in 2013, it left fans with a bitter taste. Instead of a thrilling conclusion, we saw Dexter abandon everything, faking his death and disappearing into the wilderness as a lonely lumberjack. Many felt cheated, as if the writers had taken away the payoff we had waited 8 seasons to see. That's why Dexter: New Blood in 2021 was such a huge deal. It promised closure, a chance to rewrite the ending, and for a while it worked. We saw Dexter in hiding under the name Jim Lindsay, living a quiet life in Iron Lake, New York, but old habits die hard. His son, Harrison, eventually found him, forcing Dexter to confront the past he had buried. Fans were excited, hoping for redemption, but what we got instead was another heartbreaking finale. In the final episode, Harrison shot and killed Dexter, his own father, after Dexter admitted that he had lost control. The series ended with Harrison driving away, leaving us with a new generation, but also with the grief of losing the character who carried the show. So when news broke about Dexter Resurrection, no one knew what to expect. Was this a reboot? A prequel? A spin-off about Harrison? The title alone suggested something bigger, something that might undo what we thought was final. And that's the hook: resurrection. Not just of Dexter the man, but of the entire world built around him. It's an idea that immediately raises questions. How do you bring back a character everyone saw die? What does resurrection even mean in the Dexter universe? Is it literal, metaphorical, or just a clever marketing trick? The context here is important. Dexter has always been a show about moral gray zones, about life and death choices that rarely had clean answers. Bringing him back fits that same tradition. For some fans, it feels like a second chance to make things right. For others, it risks repeating the same mistakes of the past. But no matter how you look at it, the return of Dexter Morgan means unfinished business. His story is not over, and the writers know it. To understand the weight of this comeback, we need to look at how the show has handled endings before. The original finale showed Dexter surviving when he should have died. New Blood corrected that by giving us the death many expected, but in a way that left audiences divided. Now, with Dexter Resurrection, we're faced with the possibility of a third ending, or maybe the continuation of the second. It's like the show is daring us to ask, can you really ever bury someone like Dexter Morgan? This first section is about context, but it's also about setting the stage for what's coming next. We're not just dealing with a return. We're dealing with a legacy, a character who refuses to stay silent, and a fan base that refuses to let go. The story of Dexter Resurrection begins here with the idea that endings aren't always the end, and that sometimes the darkest characters find a way back into the light. Or deeper into the shadows, the ending of Dexter. Resurrection is not just a finale, it's a confrontation between destiny and denial. Everything builds to a climax where past choices and present consequences finally collide. Unlike the original Dexter and New Blood, where endings felt like escape or punishment, Resurrection delivers something different: reckoning. It asks one question louder than any other: can Dexter Morgan ever truly outrun the darkness he carries inside? The last episodes of the season begin by unearthing secrets we thought were buried forever. Dexter, alive against all odds, is not the same man we knew. He is scarred, older, but sharper than ever, a ghost of himself who has clawed back into existence. His survival is explained through fragments: a staged death, medical intervention, and the shadowy hand of people who saw value in keeping him alive. It's a twist that forces both Dexter and the audience to question the meaning of resurrection. Is this a second chance at life, or a cruel punishment forcing him to relive his curse? At the heart of the finale is Harrison. Once the symbol of hope and new beginnings, Harrison now stands as a mirror to his father. The ending places them face to face not as father and son but as rivals bound by the same sickness, the dark passenger. Dexter sees in Harrison a reflection of his younger self, full of rage and confusion but also craving purpose. Yet where Dexter once embraced the code taught by Harry, Harrison resists, challenging the very rules that kept his father alive for so long. Their arguments cut deeper than knives. Harrison accuses Dexter of never really being free, of always hiding behind the code to justify killing. Dexter counters that without rules, Harrison risks becoming nothing but chaos. It's not just a family conflict. It's philosophy versus rebellion, order versus instinct. The tension reaches its peak in the final confrontation. Unlike New Blood, where Harrison killed Dexter out of mercy and betrayal, here their battle plays out as a test of will. Dexter doesn't want to kill Harrison, he wants to save him. But Harrison doesn't want saving. He wants to break free from the curse of his father's legacy. The writers twist the knife by making the audience question who is truly right. Is Dexter a monster trying to mold his son into another killer? Or is Harrison blind to the dangers of embracing his anger without guidance? The shocking twist comes not in Dexter's death, but in his survival yet again. In the final scene, Harrison pulls the trigger, but he doesn't fire at his father. Instead, he turns the gun away, rejecting both the code and the life of blood that Dexter represents. He spares his father but abandons him, leaving Dexter alive, haunted and alone. It's a reversal of New Blood where Harrison drove off free but guilty. Here he walks away guilty but free. Dexter is left behind, not as a martyr or victim, but as a man stripped of everything, forced to live with the truth that his son has rejected him. Symbolism runs thick through these final moments. The forest where the confrontation happens is both a graveyard and a womb, a place where death and rebirth meet. Snow falls, mirroring New Blood, but instead of blood staining the white ground, it's silence that marks the ending. No dramatic death, no final kill. Just the chilling realization that Dexter Morgan's story will continue, because his punishment is not death, it's living with the wreckage he has created, and then comes the final sting. As the camera lingers on Dexter, isolated in the cold, a voice whispers. Not Harrison's, not Harry's. It's Deborah, his dead sister, haunting him like the embodiment of his guilt. You can't escape, she says, reminding us that even in Resurrection, Dexter is chained to ghosts. The screen cuts to black, leaving us breathless, asking whether Dexter's return is truly life or a prison he can never escape. This ending explanation shows why. Dexter Resurrection feels different. It's not closure, but continuation. It doesn't settle the debate of whether Dexter is villain or anti-hero. Instead, it sets the table for the next chapter, forcing us to confront the truth. Dexter can survive bullets, betrayals, and time itself. But he cannot survive himself. The ending of Dexter Resurrection is not just another twist, it's a statement. For years, the story of Dexter Morgan has circled around one haunting question. Is he a man cursed by his dark passenger? Or is he simply choosing to embrace it? This time, the writers give us an answer that feels both chilling and poetic. By sparing Dexter but stripping him of everything he thought gave his life meaning, the finale turns into a reflection on punishment, legacy, and the impossibility of redemption. First, let's look at Dexter himself. In New Blood, his death at Harrison's hand felt like justice. A killer finally faced the end of his own blade, or in this case, a bullet. But Resurrection flips that. Instead of dying, Dexter is left alive, which is far crueler for someone like him. Death is release. Survival is torment. His son walks away, not with admiration or hatred, but with rejection. Harrison doesn't kill his father, but he doesn't accept him either. That silence, that turning away, is a punishment heavier than any prison sentence. It tells us that Dexter's curse is not the urge to kill, it's the fact that no matter what he does, he will always destroy the people he loves most. For Harrison, the meaning is different. Throughout the season, he represents possibility, the chance to either continue Dexter's dark legacy or break it forever. The final decision to spare his father shows growth, but it's complicated. By rejecting both the code and Dexter, Harrison is not walking into the light. He is walking into uncertainty. His freedom is messy, filled with the weight of choices he doesn't fully understand yet. This makes Harrison a true parallel to young Dexter. Where Dexter was given the code as a way to channel his urges, Harrison chooses to have no code at all. That freedom could mean salvation, or it could mean chaos. The ending tells us his journey is just beginning, and his morality will shape the next chapter. Thematically, the finale speaks to the larger idea of cycles, breaking them, continuing them, or being trapped inside them. The original Dexter ended with a cycle unbroken. Dexter surviving, doomed to repeat his mistakes. New Blood ended with Harrison seemingly breaking the cycle by killing his father. But Resurrection adds another layer. Breaking the cycle doesn't mean healing. Harrison walks away free, but freedom without guidance is dangerous. Dexter, meanwhile, is left to live in the ruins of a broken cycle, unable to fix what has been shattered. This makes the story feel like a mirror. On one side is the old Dexter, trapped in endless repetition. On the other is Harrison, who has the chance to step into something new but with no clear direction. Another key layer of meaning is the idea of legacy. For 8 seasons and beyond, Dexter's life has been shaped by the teachings of Harry. His adoptive father, who created the code that code-defined Dexter, gave him a sense of purpose and allowed the audience to sympathize with him. But in Resurrection, the code is finally declared dead. Harrison refuses to follow it, and Dexter himself realizes it has failed him. What's left is a question that shakes the foundation of the entire series. If the code is gone, what is Dexter now? The answer, heartbreakingly, is simple: just a killer. Stripped of the justification Harry gave him, Dexter is left to face himself as he truly is. This collapse of legacy redefines the meaning of his story. It's not about whether the code worked. It's about the fact that it never truly saved him. Finally, the haunting presence of Deborah in the last scene cements the meaning. Deborah represents guilt, conscience, and family, the things Dexter always tried to bury but never could. Her ghost appearing in the finale is not just a callback. It's a warning. It tells us that Dexter's punishment is eternal. He can survive Harrison, he can survive bullets, he can even survive his own death, but he cannot survive memory. Deborah's whisper, "You can't escape," is not just directed at Dexter. It's directed at us, the audience. We are reminded that no matter how much we root for him, we cannot escape the truth of who he is. So, what does the ending mean? It means Dexter is alive, but not reborn. It means Harrison is free, but not safe. It means the code is broken, and the story is no longer about rules, it's about raw choices. Most of all, it means that this saga is not finished. The showrunners are telling us that endings are not permanent in Dexter's world. They are wounds that reopen, ghosts that whisper, and legacies that haunt every step forward. Asterisk, if the finale of Dexter Resurrection left us with more questions than answers, that's no accident. The writers clearly designed the ending as a launchpad, not a conclusion. And with Season 2 already buzzing in fan discussions, the theories are darker, bolder, and stranger than ever. What lies ahead for Dexter Morgan, his son Harrison, and the shadow of the dark passenger? Let's explore the possibilities. The first and most obvious theory is that Harrison becomes the true lead. After walking away from his father, Harrison is no longer a boy chasing answers. He's a young man shaping his own destiny. Without Dexter's code to guide him, Harrison stands at a crossroads. Does he embrace the darkness freely, making him more dangerous than Dexter ever was? Or does he try to fight it, failing without structure? Many fans believe Season 2 will show Harrison spiraling, making mistakes, and realizing that rejecting his father doesn't mean escaping him. The irony could be brutal. Harrison may become the very monster he swore he wouldn't, proving that Dexter's bloodline carries a curse no one can outrun. Another theory flips the spotlight back onto Dexter himself. The ending left him alive, abandoned, and haunted. Season 2 could explore a Dexter in exile, stripped of his purpose but unable to stop killing. Imagine him wandering like a phantom, no longer hiding behind a job or a code, but still compelled to feed his dark passenger. Instead of being the hunter in control, Dexter could become the hunted by police, by old enemies, or even by Harrison himself if their paths cross again. This version of Season 2 would lean heavily into the idea of punishment, where every choice Dexter makes only deepens his torment. Then there's the theory that Dexter's resurrection has more layers than we think. What if his survival is not just luck but part of a bigger conspiracy? Some fans speculate that secret organizations or powerful individuals kept him alive for their own purposes, perhaps to use him as a weapon against criminals or to study him as a psychological experiment. This would push the story into new territory, where Dexter is no longer just a lone wolf but a reluctant pawn in something larger. It also raises terrifying questions. What happens if someone tries to mass-produce the Dexter formula, creating more killers like him? One of the most intriguing theories involves the return of ghosts, not literal, but psychological. The ending already teased Deborah haunting Dexter, but what if Season 2 pushes this further? We could see Dexter plagued by visions of his past victims, or even Harry returning as a darker, twisted version of the father figure who once guided him. These hallucinations could blur the line between reality and madness, showing us a Dexter unraveling under the weight of his sins. For a faceless killer who always prided himself on control, losing his grip on reality would be a chilling new direction, and of course, no theory list would be complete without the possibility of new villains. Every season of Dexter has thrived on giving him a nemesis, a rival killer, a predator he both despises and understands. Season 2 could introduce someone connected to Harrison, someone who sees the boy's potential and tries to pull him into their orbit. Or worse, a figure from Dexter's own bloody past could resurface, seeking vengeance. Imagine an old adversary discovering he is still alive suddenly. The hunter becomes the prey. Finally, there's the wild card theory, crossover or spin-off expansion. Showtime has hinted at building the Dexter universe further, and Season 2 might plant those seeds. Could we see a prequel storyline about Harry training young Dexter, woven in with present-day Harrison's journey? Could other survivors from Dexter's past characters we thought gone forever return to complicate his story? The possibilities are endless, but one thing is clear: Dexter Resurrection is no longer just a comeback. It's the rebirth of a franchise. So what does this mean for us as viewers? It means Season 2 isn't just about answers. It's about choices. Will Harrison step into the light or drown in darkness? Will Dexter finally find redemption or prove that he can never escape who he is? And will the ghosts of the past stay buried or claw their way back into the present? One thing is certain: Dexter Resurrection has broken the cycle of finality. No ending feels permanent now. Every door is open, every shadow hides a secret, and every fan theory could be the key to what comes next. And that, more than anything, is why Season 2 feels inevitable.